Hello, so I'm Kyla and I just got invited to design for my first fashion show. Hi, oh my gosh, I have so much exciting news for you today. So basically, I received this message yesterday night saying, hey, do you want to be a fashion designer for our upcoming Women in STEM fashion show? And I said, is this real? This doesn't seem real. Is this real? And so I looked into it, and it's real. I've been invited to be a designer for this Women in STEM fashion show with Reinvented Magazine. So Reinvented Magazine is a non-profit, so their mission, according to their website, is to reinvent the general perception of women in STEM fields while inspiring interest in STEM for young women worldwide. So they're basically a magazine for women and girls in STEM, interested in STEM, really interested in adding voices of women into the STEM field. So they are having their first STEM fashion show. So they're having their first STEM fashion show this July 20th in Austin, Texas. And I am so excited for it. The theme is Cosmic Couture, and it's going to be STEM. It's a STEM-themed fashion show. And it's really kind of about this idea that women shouldn't have to sacrifice their personalities and their fashion just to be respected in the workplace as someone in a STEM field. And so it's going to be amazing. I am so excited. So if you want to buy tickets, they do still have some left. So please, if anyone sees this who is in Austin, Texas or near Austin, Texas, if you came, I would be forever grateful and so happy to meet you and see you, and you would get to see my design walk the runway. So that would be pretty incredible. So there are 11 role models. So role is in parentheses because they're role models, but also they're the models for the show. And I am working with the incredible Ellie in Space. So she is a space YouTuber. She kind of does everything journalism around space journalism and things like that. And I love her. I am so excited to design something for her and work with her. Okay, so there are 4 categories for the fashion show, for the designs. And so I am completing my look and my design in one of these 4 categories. So the 4 categories are adaptive, sustainable, interactive, and open. So adaptive is basically anything designed with accessibility in mind for people with disabilities. And then sustainable is made using sustainable materials and practices, can include recycled materials, advocacy-based inspiration, etc. Interactive implements the use of wearable technology such as robotics, LEDs, etc. And then open is anything that doesn't fall into the other categories. They say we don't want to limit your creativity and we want to see designs you're excited about. So if your idea doesn't fall into one of the other categories, just be sure there is some kind of tie back to STEM. And so I've been thinking about it and trying to figure out my inspiration. And so first off, I want to do my project probably in the sustainable category. I want all of my pieces to be thrifted, secondhand, dead stock, that sort of material. But I do have a design in mind. So I've been thinking about this since before I got matched with a model. I've been thinking a lot about designing dresses and thinking about space design specifically because of Cosmic Couture, the theme of this fashion show. And just thinking about all these elements and thinking about what kind of dress I want to make for my model. And what was really inspiring me was this concept of space being this largely undiscovered, very unknown, massive thing, much like the ocean is. So the ocean and space terrify me, but I'm also intrigued by them because they're very artistically inspiring to me, and they hold a lot of potential for design influences, I think. And so as I was thinking about this, I had this vision pop into my head. And then I was sitting on the couch just now, and I was an image popped into my head. And so this image is of a ball gown, obviously. I don't have a clear image for the top yet, but for the skirt, I'm imagining utilizing some sheer material. Ideally, I think I'd like to use some vinyl or something like that. The only catch is that I really want to focus on as much natural materials as possible, so I don't know if there is such thing as a natural clear material, like a clear plastic material that's not plastic. I don't know, I might have to go for some silk organza or something. That might work really well, but I don't know if I'll be able to thrift or find silk organza. It's going to be a really fun creative project because it's going to be definitely stretching my limits of what I usually do. But I'm having this image of like clear bottom, like a clear see-through bottom, kind of a wave where it attaches deep sea life, ocean, water as the bottom. And then as we go up the dress, it transitions into space, the moon, stars, galaxies, that kind of vibe. And then I think I'd really like to do some sort of embroidery. I wonder if I could find, or applique or something. This like ball gown dress, like a full circle skirt, poofy ball gown dress, where the bottom of the ball gown is clear like plastic. And as you move up the ball gown, we move from the ocean to the earth to like land up to space and the sky into the space, into the universe, into the solar system. And that is kind of the vision I have moving forwards, but I'm obsessed with the idea. I love it a lot. I think we have a lot to work with here. And so today I was thinking about, one thing I've really been wondering about is the clear vinyl plastic bottom part of the dress. The problem is I want this dress to be like as much natural material as possible. I want to be using primarily natural fibers because the theme I'm going for with this dress, I'm going with a sustainable theme. And so I want everything to be natural fibers, but there doesn't exist a clear plastic that's natural fibers. Like, if there does, I haven't discovered it yet and I haven't figured it out. So I'm like, what do I do? So then I had this great idea, partly thanks to my boyfriend as I was having a conversation with him about it. I had this great idea to use recycled plastic, and so I was like thinking about using recycled materials and like, because the whole dress is going to be recycled materials regardless. It's all going to be thrift store finds, things I thrifted, things I got secondhand, that sort of thing. And so if I can apply that to the plastic and get secondhand plastic, that's recycling. And so I am obsessed with this idea. And then I went a step further and was thinking about how our oceans are filled with plastic. Like, our world is falling apart and it's damaging the oceans intensely. It's damaging a lot of the ecosystem. And so really exploring that element maybe, and like that can be a theme of the dress with like the ocean being made of plastic. But then we move up into the space, and then and I want the space part of the dress to be cleaner, like, and this idea of like an untouched new frontiers, climbing higher and higher. And so if space is the new frontier, let's think of it as let's think of how we can make life in space, how we can sustain life in space, and all these elements. And so I was thinking, okay, I already wanted the whole dress to be natural materials, but if I have plastic on the bottom, I want it to get increasingly more natural materials as we get to the top, and the top is like 100% cotton or silk or something. So I'm thinking about that, and then I have this epiphany. I'm like, I want the top to be a denim corset, because this was partly inspired by the denim look at the Met Gala literally last night. This is Tuesday, May 7th that I'm filming this. And so literally last night was the Met Gala, however you say it. Divine Joy Randolph rocks custom Gap denim gown at the 2024 Met Gala. So I'll put an image in here of her dress. It's stunning. It's so incredible. So that, I think, was partially the inspiration that why this idea popped into my head and this vision popped into my head. And so this idea pops into my head of this denim corset that then I want to either embroider or paint or beadify, like tambour embroidery, and apply stars and galaxies and all of that to it. So we have this denim corset, but it's the background of this dark space theme up top with 100% cotton and reused, recycled, thrifted materials. So I already thrifted everything I need pretty much, and I still need a few other things that I'm going to have to look a little harder for, but I have gotten my stuff from thrift stores, from Facebook Marketplace, and from fabric thrift stores. So if you don't know, there's a whole world of fabric thrift stores out there. I will put in the link some of my favorite fabric thrift stores that I follow, and it's so cool. I'm obsessed with this whole thing of fabric thrift stores, especially because I don't want to contribute to fast fashion just because I'm making it myself. Doesn't mean I can't contribute to the overconsumption of the fashion industry just because I'm making it myself. Obviously I love my Joanne runs, but it's not the most sustainable option out there. And so when I can find really nice fabrics secondhand that have been donated by someone else who didn't want them and I'm using them up and their scraps are unused by other people, that is really exciting to me and really fulfills the sustainable element of this and also fulfills my own interest in sustainability. I got a crap ton of fabric here. This is completely full of fabric. I posted a reel about this and a real short form video about this. I got all this fabric for $1 a yard or less, 25 cents for anything under a yard. And boy, do I have a lot of cool stuff to work with here. So I'm going to be going through this and pick out the stuff that we think would work really well for this project. We have a lot of ocean, we have a lot of blue, we have a lot of clouds, and we have a few animal things as well. And then today I also ordered, I'll put it here on the screen, I also ordered this fabric from Lucky Deluxe Fabrics, a fabric thrift store, that I'm going to use a lot for the in-between ocean, or in-between earth, land section of the dress. The last part is math. I really want to do the patchwork. Obviously, I have so much patchwork fabric here in this box, and I want to really utilize that. But I don't want it to look like a quilt. I don't want it to look like just a normal quilted patchwork dress. I want it to be a little more elevated than that and a little more STEM than that. I want it to include some of these STEM concepts that the whole fashion show is themed around more than just regular quilting would, regular patchwork would. So I was thinking about it, and I was thinking about the golden ratio. If you don't know what the golden ratio is, the golden ratio, also known as Fibonacci sequence, basically, I'll put a picture on screen. You probably have seen this. It's in art, it's in science, it's in nature, it's everywhere. And so that is what I was thinking, but the golden ratio feels a little cliche and not creative enough. Not that it's not creative, but I want to do something out of the box and a little more crazy than that. And so then I was thinking, what if I do something with some sort of mathematical formula that has been integral to our space exploration? So some sort of complex mathematical equation that has been integral to the space exploration world and launching rockets into space, landing on the moon, something that's really relevant in that universe. Problem is, I'm not a rocket scientist, and I have no idea what that is. I have no idea how I'm gonna find that. So that's my next task, is to research that. So I first started this journey by I YouTubed Rocket Science Math Explained, and I watched this video of this guy explaining the equation for rockets and like why rockets, like it's literally called the rocket equation. And I was like, okay, like cool. So like what does the equation look like on like a graph, like visually? How do you visualize the equation? It's really boring. It's literally just a curve. And I'm like, well, darn, like, that's not helpful. Like, a rocket equation is not, like, visually inspiring, artistically inspiring. So I kept looking. So then I find this video, the video that changed everything, titled The Mathematics of Our Universe by Zach Starr. And this got things moving. This got the train moving. And so basically in it, he talks about Einstein's general theory of relativity and space-time, and how time is like the fourth dimension and stuff, and how that creates space-time, blah, blah, blah. So I'm Googling all the things he talks about in the video as he's talking about them to like see images of them visually displayed. And first I find space-time diagram. I just searched space-time diagram, and I find this beautiful thing. This is inspiring. So the Minkowski space-time light cone diagram is, I think, the inspiration we're going for. Because when you look at it visually, it's very reminiscent of, well, a lot of things. But what really inspires me about it is it reminds me of the like ideal or basic or traditional female body of big bust, skinny waist, big hips and butt. And it has that, like, it has a waist. This diagram has a waist. And so it goes in as a cone and then goes out as a cone, and you have the hypersurface of the present as at zero, like on the zero of the cone. I'll put the diagram here, you'll see what I'm talking about. But this, I'm like, this is, I can work with. It reminds me of, there's a scene in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. But the point of the story is the Euclidean space-time / space-time diagram, light cone, space-time, that thing is inspiring me. So originally I just had this image of a corset, bare shoulders, corset, ball gown, We got the whole, I've explained it, the whole ocean to space, blah, blah, blah. But now I have this really cool idea. What if I make, like, imagine Mindy Kaling's Met Gala look? How she has those big things. What if I do something like that with, like, I'm thinking the word effervescent is coming up. Like this effervescent, universal, galaxy, star-studded, bejeweled, flowy explosion on the shoulders, so that we have, it comes at the shoulders, it's up high, comes down to the corset, the thin corset, and the waist, and then it flares out into the skirt. Like, we got that shape, you know? So I'm really excited about it. I think this is really gonna bring the whole thing together and give it the thing I'm looking for. And I'm thinking I can work with that shape and that cone shape and really accentuate the curve of the skirt as it like poofs out in the way I pattern the patchwork together, and like really accentuate that point up into the waist. So I'm really excited about it. I think it's going to be really cool. I'm going to try and design now. I am a little daunted by how I'm going to put all my ideas on paper. Okay, so finally, here is my design. I have it sketched up. It's kind of a rough first draft. For me, drawing my design is not a final perfect. I try not to be a perfectionist about it, even though I very much can be, because I'm aware it's going to look better and more refined as I make it out of actual fabric, because I am a seamstress, not a visual artist. I'm not very experienced in visualizing my products on paper, or in this case digitally, and I'm a lot better at seeing it in my head and then making it come to life with the fabric. So this design is not perfect. It's not perfectly representative of everything I have in mind, but it's a pretty good idea to give people who can't see inside my head what it is I'm visualizing and planning and making. So from top to bottom, we have at the top, we have this fabric I just found yesterday in Nacho Ann's thrift drop. So I found this fabric. It's hopefully going to be enough of it. It's not a full yardage. It's like a few pieces have been cut out of it. So hopefully it'll be enough. We'll see, but fingers crossed. So I have that, and that is going to be the top. The thing I'm still missing from the top shawl poof thing is I do still need tulle and some sort of structure to make it poof out like that. That's not going to do that without some tulle, some boning, some wires, something going on. So I'm going to need to brainstorm a little bit what that's going to look like and how I'm going to do that. I need to start searching for some more materials for that. And then the corset, we got the denim corset. So I have thrifted 5 denim pairs of jeans from my local thrift store, and I'm going to be using those. And I am also not pictured in this design. Again, I didn't include all the elements. So one thing that I did not include in this design is I want to be embroidering the denim top. So the denim top is going to have embroidery of constellations, galaxies, stars, planets maybe. I'm not 100% sure all what I'm going to include on the top. Maybe I'll include some rocket ships, since Ellie is a space journalist and is so adept at reporting on the space exploration journey. And so I'm going to include all of those elements somehow embroidered onto the top. So that is going to be a whole nother pop onto this outfit that you don't see right now in this picture. And then the skirt, we have this amazing ball gown. And so I have it so it starts up here with a sky and like space, and then it goes down into land and nature and clouds, and then it goes down into the ocean and marine life and oceans. And then at the very bottom, we have that plastic that I talked about, which is very poorly visualized in my opinion. I do not think it looks good in this drawing, but I tried my best. But I also want to be painting the plastic and kind of integrating that blue into the plastic a little more so it flows up into the gown better. Again, I didn't do all this in this design, again, because I only have so much patience with my Photoshop skills. So that is the design. I am super excited about it. The one other thing is that I did not include in this design, is that I do want to add some oomph to the skirt, essentially. I want to kind of elevate it with either embroidery, appliques, beadwork, sparkles. Again, not 100% sure about that. I think that's going to be best figured out once I have the skirt constructed and I can see how I feel it looks. I'm gonna keep brainstorming about it and like trying out different things. I'm probably gonna trial and error a few things and see what looks best with the actual fabrics. I mean, these are the actual fabrics, but the actual fabrics in person, and really decide where to go from there. Also, the main thing I'm not happy about with the skirt is that middle pink and green panel I made way too big. But again, it took so long to patchwork all these images together that I was like, screw it, it's good enough. We're gonna keep it as is. But, so this is the rough design. It's gonna be elevated a lot. I'm probably gonna add some stars, embroidered stars, or star appliques to the sleeve shawl poof thing as well. So this is a very simplified version of what the final gown will look like, and hopefully it will look a lot better and a lot cooler. I do think this looks cool, but it's not perfectly reflective of my vision. Okay, hello! Welcome to my sewing room hallway. So I'm here today to rob you.
Hello there. I am in the neighborhood today to rob you.
I'm here today to show you all the materials we have. We should have everything we need for the dress now, except for possibly beads and crystals and stuff, like beads and bedazzling, but I'll get to that at the end of the video. Also, I'd just like to address that tonight is the Aurora Borealis potentially being able to be seen in Washington State. So this is my Aurora Borealis viewing fit. And I'm going to take off the jacket because it's really warm. I made this jacket like 2-3 years ago, and it has rainbow leopard geckos, so that's great. I made this shirt a couple months ago. And honestly, the jacket's kind of better made than the shirt, I'm not gonna lie to you. First off, we have 5 pairs of jeans that I'm going to cut up and turn into the corset. So there's our 5 pairs of jeans. Hopefully, I think it's going to be a good mix of colors for the corset. Ta-da! And then we have all this quilting cotton that's going to make up the skirt. So this should be, hopefully, the whole skirt. So we'll see if that works out. I think it should. I think I have plenty here for all the elements I'm going to need. So that's that. And then I got the jeans at my local thrift store. I also got at my local thrift store this magnificent dress. So quilting cotton was the first purchase of this event, and then this dress was the second. The dress and the jeans I got at the same time. The main reason I got it was for the beads. I'm going to take these beads off and use these beads in my design. The boning, I want to use the boning that's already in here. And the puffy underskirt, I'm going to rejuvenate as the underskirt. And then I was like, okay, I still need puffiness and the shawl poof cardigan wrap thing. I really need to come up with a better name for it. If you have any ideas, please let me know because I'm stumped. And so I got some fabric at Nacho Ann's Fabric for the wrap. But then I was like, I'm not sure if I'm going to have enough of that. Hopefully enough, but if not, I also got some stuff for that. Yesterday, when I drove up to Spokane, I live in Pullman, so like an hour and a half drive north, and I drove all around the city. I went to Coeur d'Alene too, and I got a bunch of random crap that's actually really going to be useful, hopefully. So one of the things I first got was this. So this is an embroidery stand because, like I said, I'm going to be doing lots of embroidery on this. And I'd like to try some tambour embroidery as well. Tambour embroidery, you need a stand because you need to have both hands, one behind the fabric and one in front of it, so you can't be holding an embroidery hoop and embroidering. So I got this bad boy for only 10 bucks. Beautiful. Magnificent. And then I got this box of scraps. This box was chock full of scraps. It's only half full now. And it's got, what's left in here is quilting and some satin. I'll use it eventually, but I'm not going to use it for this project. There was all this tulle, so I may use this tulle. I'm not 100%. I may not need it with the other stuff I've got, but I have it just in case. Probably the best find of the whole box is this gorgeous number. So this is some sequined blue stretch. There's just a little bit of it, but this might be really nice to drape around the shawl piece. It's super sparkly, and like if you're on a runway, like fashion show runway, like the light, you need sparkles. So this is going to be a really nice add to the sparkles effect of the whole thing. And then also in the box were a couple organzas. We've got this deep purple kind of plum organza and this crystal clear organza. Look at that, so pretty. So these may also be used in the poof up top. Again, I'm still figuring out the poof. That's going to be a future project to figure out how the heck I'm going to construct that. And so I want to have all the materials I could possibly need for the poof ready, and I certainly do at this point. I've got plenty of poof, plenty of organza, plenty of color. We got plenty of options. So those are those. And that's that scrap box. So I got this bolt of fabric, or this bolt of organza. It's kind of a very, very pale, purpley, mauve, grayish purple color. But I got that for a couple reasons. One, I can dye it if I need it. There's a whole bunch here. I don't know if you can see how much there is, but there's like a ton here. And so I can dye it, obviously. I love dyeing. And then I can also use it as tambour embroidery practice and tambour embroidery if I want to do embroidery over the skirt. I can maybe do panels of this sheer over the skirt and embroider things onto it and embroider sparkles onto it and make it shimmer and glimmer. And you'll be able to see like the cotton through it really well. Like, I don't know if you can tell, but you can see through this pretty darn well. So we'll see. I might decide to do tulle for that. I might decide to not do any overlay and just embroider directly on the cotton some sparkles. We'll see. But then I also got a couple other organzas. I got this deep, very deep purple and a couple yards of this sea green blue. And so I think these will go really well together with the fabric I already got from Nacho Ann's. And that will be perfection. I've got a little bit more tulle. So I also got this tulle. Not a ton here, but there's blues and the greens I may use. It's honestly all good colors, very applicable colors for my project. And I may use this for the poof, I may use it for the underskirt. I'm not 100% sure yet. Again, we're kind of just gathering materials. I'm like a squirrel. I'm gathering nuts for the winter. Don't know what I'm going to use it for, but I know I'll need it. So, that's that. So, I also saw this corset listed online. And I was like, I need that boning. I'm going to take that corset. I need that boning. And so I've got this corset with lots of boning. There's quite a few channels, so I will have plenty. And then it also will have the laces if I need lacing from this. I'm not sure what I'm going to do for the laces yet. We'll see. And it's got eyelets. I'm not 100% sure if I can reuse these eyelets, how cooperative they'll be for that. But if I can, I will reuse those eyelets because that would be rad. And then I also might use the fabric as sew-in interfacing because it is so stiff. And so that corset came with this little skirt. Again, not really sure what I'm going to use it for yet. Might use it for the poof, probably is the most likely outcome, because it is black organza, and so adding some kind of darker tones and colors to this poof will be really nice. And it's lined with ribbon, which I think will add some nice depth and contrast to the poof. So that'll probably be, I'll probably chop this up and interweave it with the poof. Also, it came with gloves, which have laces, which is super, oh! There's eyelets on these too. Okay, so I'm gonna have plenty of eyelets to like mess up with, and I can like hopefully have plenty of backups. And the ribbon, which is gonna be great. And then second to last, I got this petticoat. This is an organza and tulle petticoat. Again, more fluff. We're gonna need as much fluff as we can get. So we got plenty of fluff. And then last but not least, the diamond of the hour. I got this magnificent beauty, this giant tulle petticoat. I'm guessing it's inside out because you're not going to want that tulle against your legs. So I think I'm probably going to flip it so that this is against your legs and then the tulle and crinoline is in between the fabric layers and you don't have to touch it because this is not nice on the skin. You don't want to be touching this. But this is beautiful. This is exactly what I needed. This is going to be a lifesaver. And there, as you see, there's not a ton of poof up top, so that's again why I have so much extra fluff and tulle and other petticoats to use. So that is what we've got. The final thing I still need, oh, one more thing. The final thing I still need is bottles. So I got a heat gun and I need 1,000,000 bottles because I'm going to cut these bottles, heat gun them together, and have them as the underneath the ocean floor of the dress. Whew, that was a lot of information and a lot of talking and a lot of stuff. I did meet with Ellie today and we're really excited about the design. We're really excited to get started. Next step is start making the corset because I'm going to make a corset mock-up If you don't know what a mock-up is, it's like a trial run or a practice run of something for clothes. And so I'm going to make a corset mock-up to make sure it fits Ellie well and that she likes it and that it supports her well and she feels, you know, comfortable in it. And so I'm going to make a mock-up of that and mail that to Ellie in the next week or two, and then start piecing the skirt and kind of getting to work on everything else. So it's going to be a hectic time over here. I'm really excited. I hope you follow along. Thank you so much for watching. See you next time.